the ones who are so obnoxious, the ones who control culture, the ones in the media, the ones on what used to be on Twitter. That's what I was saying about Elon. He did a good thing. He drove the woke out of Twitter the way St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland. But then instead of creating what would have been like the internet version of what I think I'm doing, a place where you have a kind of a centrist view, where you have maybe, you know, generally center left, but not afraid to call out the left, but also realistic about how dangerous the right is. But he didn't. He went full bore and just switched it all over to the super right. So now we just have Twitter's mirror image.
Let me ask you about that.
And it should have been Twitter, the middle place.
Well, some of this is a technical problem, eh? And what I mean by that is that these new social communication technologies are landscapes that lack governance, and no one knows exactly how to do it, right? It's not like Mark Zuckerberg knows how to regulate Facebook. No, I'm serious. It's really okay. No, but there's some reasons for that too.
You're right.
So the anonymity that the social media platforms allows the psychopathic narcissist types that are all a real danger to civilization. It allows them free reign, and they're amplified because they what would you say? They parasitize negative emotion, and they're amplified. And now it's the case that throughout history, when the psychopathic minority, which is about 4% of the population, gets the upper hand, that all hell breaks loose. This happens all the time. And what I see happening in the social media world is the rise of exactly those sorts of people. They'll say anything they can possibly imagine, regardless of political orientation, because they're just using that as a weapon to draw power and resources to themselves. And there's plenty of them. And they have come out in staggering numbers on the far right in the aftermath of October 7th. And it's a seriously ugly thing to see. But it's also, we're trying to solve that. So tell me what you think about this. We tried to solve that with Peterson Academy. So we built a social media network into it. Now, there's a couple of differences between it and Twitter. And the first difference, and I really want to know what you think about this, is there's a price of entry. You have to pay $40 a month. So here's a hypothesis to be part of Peterson Academy and to participate in the social media network.
$40 a month.
Well, that's
nothing.
I know. We have the most progressive university in the world. High quality education for everyone.
That's so Canadian.
Yeah. So
$40.
Well, so
you can't get a Mai Tai for $40 in this town.
Yeah, we think we can get people a bachelor's level equivalent education for $2,000. That's the plan. And I think we can do it. We have the capital to do it.
So you're teaching like the old school curriculum? Please say yes.
Yes.
Like what I learned.
Yes.
Like, I mean, European history, it's not evil just because it happened in Europe, right?
Yeah. Okay. We're teaching, I mean, it's going to be a classic liberal curriculum, fundamentally.
And like, that's not to
tilted,
say,
I suppose, to some degree towards the conservative side.
Do I think that in my fabulous Cornell education, they gave short shrift to Asia and Africa? I do. I think I probably should know more about Asian and African history.
But at least you know something.
Well, I don't know.
You got to start somewhere.
I don't know much, but I'm sorry, but there is less that's relevant to the modern world. Because again, the idea is
that Eurocentric bigot.
I'm not a bigot. I know you're joking, but no, I'm just saying, if the ideas that came through, as I mentioned before, Athens and Rome and Jerusalem and London and Paris and Philadelphia, if they had come through Dakar and I don't know, Timbuktu, and I would be, I'm sorry, but they didn't. So should I study these civilizations more? Yes, but you then have to prove to me that, you know.
Now you've just lost like another 100,000 woke fans, you know, so the way they're
already gone.
Yeah.
They're already gone, brother. Yeah. They're already gone, and it's okay. Maybe they'll come back, but you know, I mean, it's very hard to reach the indoctrinated on either side. I mean, I saw you got in trouble because you said Kamala Harris's fans, she talks to them like
retarded children.
Okay. Did you see the debate last night?
I did.
I mean, what could be more retarded than
it was rough.
Than saying the immigrants are eating the cats and the dogs? I mean, come on, man. I mean, come on. It's kind of asking for trouble when you position the one person, and again, people are binary in their thinking. But when you use that word about, which I agree.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about that. So, I think Trump made a mistake last night in not making more of the nature of his team. So let me walk you through that and tell me what you think about it. So you already admitted, for example, or agreed that the universities are in dire shape.
Horrible.
Okay. So now the question is...
I call it the source of the problem.
Yes, okay.
The mouth of the river from which all the woke nonsense flows. Yeah. The mouth of the river is what I would say.
Yes, and I agree with that sentiment. I think it's true. And we know perfectly well that the university faculties are tilted radically to the left, that there's far fewer classic liberals than there were, say, 30 years ago, and there's virtually no conservatives.
Right.
So it's very tilted.
And the phrase ivory tower, you know, sometimes something becomes such a cliche you don't hear it anymore, but that's perfect. It's really what it is. The Ivy League ivory towers. They're living in towers. They don't understand.
Towers of Babel, as it turns out.
Really.
Definitely.
Which is kind of the Eve story retold. You know, you cannot know what God is like.
Yes,
Don't eat the apple. Don't try to climb up to me.
That's right. It's a story of pride again.
All those themes recapitulate. I mean, I'm getting this from your book. I mean, I knew it before, but the way you get at that again, it's just. It was,
I have the next one written too.
Such a pleasure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, really. I mean, there's so few things left for adults. Everything is geared. And look,
it's that impulsive gratification that we were talking about earlier. A society that's tilted towards that. Well, you talked about immaturity, you know, and that requirement for immediate gratification is like the definition of immaturity.
The problem is parents used to go see movies, and now they give kids their money to go see the movies they want to see. That's what happened in the movie industry.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, I'm not a parent. I probably shouldn't comment on it.
So the Twitter issue. So I think part of the problem, you tell me what you think about this, is that part of the problem with the social media networks is that they're free. Because
it's just that Elon is constantly, you know, just writing true about some insanity. It's the thing that happened last night at the debate with the immigrants are eating the cats, and like the human mind. You know this better than me because this is your life's work. But it's just such an amazing place that you can be so brilliant as to be able to figure out electric cars and how to relaunch a rocket from Mars back to Earth. But like the stupidest thing someone puts up on Twitter, he will retweet and say true.
I know that the far-right mob that emerged after October 7th, I know for a fact that they're attempting to manipulate Musk and draw him into a web that amplifies their views.
Well, it's working.
I know that. I understand that.
But he should, like I said, he had the chance to take Twitter and twist it away from the far lefties who had made it a ridiculous place. My line about Twitter was always, anything I want to say on Twitter, I can't say on Twitter. That was the problem with Twitter, because the school moms were pointing their finger at you.
Yes, I've noticed that.
And he completely switched it around. But he should have just gone halfway.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So I have some friends who've been looking into the rise of the far-right anti-Semitic psychopathic types on Twitter and elsewhere. And they've done very deep analysis, tracing the sources of funding as well.
From the left.
The people who are doing this?
From the left.
No, the right-wingers.
The right-wing Jew haters.
Yeah.
Because there's ones on both sides.
Yeah, definitely. That's for sure. There's plenty of them. And which is worse? It's like, I don't know. It's like,
I'm much more afraid of the left Jew haters.
Yeah, I think that's right at the moment.
I mean, the right ones were always there.
Yeah, they're more there now than they were, though, too.
That's the tiki torch, Jews will not replace us crowd.
Yeah.
They were always there. That's a problem. We should keep an eye on it. It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah.
But what's new?
Globalize the Intifada? That sort of anti-Semitism?
Hamas will save us. Hamas is coming. Yeah. I mean, just read their signs. Hamas is coming, like that's a good thing.
You know that women between the ages of 18 and 35 get almost all of their news from TikTok, eh?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that TikTok, I think the stats we have is it's 60-1 Hamas versus Israel in terms of messaging.
Well, women between 18 and 35 get most of their news from TikTok, but also from what I tell them.
What's the demography of your fan group? Yeah, right.
It's not that.
No, definitely not.
No, it's. Can you imagine?
Okay, so
anyone 18 listening to this conversation? I mean, they would have to be just. And there's always those 18-year-olds out there. There's always that 1% of kids, no matter how bad the system gets, you can't stop them from being smart. You can't stop them from knowing shit. And
even if you send them to university, you mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah. They're intellectually curious, and especially with the internet and everything else, that what gets on their radar, what sticks, in their head, is just enormous. And it's always impressive to me to meet somebody young like that who knows so many things. But the vast majority of them, I could go on and on about the educational system, and I'm sure you could too, but I mean, we've passed.
That's why we're trying to replace it.
Yes. And I'm glad you are. And Barry Weiss, I'm sure you know this, started a university. And I say the more the merrier. Because, I mean, obviously we can't just have one. And I think it'll be successful because, success in any market is finding a niche that is not being exploited. Something where the market goes, we need that. Or else you have to invent a need. People did that. Nobody thought they needed $5 coffee. And nobody thought they needed an iPhone. But people have always, I think, thought, I want my kids to actually get a real education. I mean, isn't that the success of the Catholic schools in this country? People go to Catholic schools in greater numbers than ever who are not Catholic.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the last places you can get a serious education. Where there's
Careful. You're starting to sound like someone who's pro-religious
I
again.
am not pro-religious. I'm an atheist, and I have tremendous bitterness against the Catholics who personally made me an unhappy child.
What happened?
What happened? I was raised Catholic is what happened. What happened was church and catechism and nuns who fucking pit you with a ruler and anxiety about I have to memorize 100 questions. Like, where do I come from? God made me. Like, I still have, I saved it, the mimeograph sheet. I can still smell it. Where I had to know 100 questions. Like, where is God? God is everywhere. I mean, some of them you could just guess. But when you're 7, it's traumatizing. Make a 7-year-old memorize 100 questions about the fucking world. And again,
well, a lot of people who tilt towards atheism aren't doing it only for reasons of rationality. They're also doing it because they were hurt by bad religious actors.
Oh, I'm completely open to admitting that. Fuck them. And I love to put them out of business, but I also rationally believe it's the right thing to do. I believe that future historians will say that humans actually exited their medieval period when theism died. We think we exited our medieval period with the advent of the scientific revolution and when science became a thing around 1500, or whenever, Da Vinci and Copernicus and...
May the Lord have mercy on
Okay, I think they will say it's when we stopped, as a general thing, there will always be pockets of resistance, but generally stopped being theists. I think they will say that's when humanity entered their post-medieval period.
So for me,
I throw the glove down, sir.
Well, the problem I have with that, and have had for a long time, is that there's always going to be something that tries to rise up to occupy the highest possible place. Always. Because there's a drive towards unity socially and psychologically. And so...
But you're saying better religion than what replaces it?
Well, no, not necessarily.
No, that's not a ridiculous theory. Because I've seen religion replaced by this kind of QAnon thing.
Yeah.
QAnon is kind of a religion.
Yeah, so is wokeism.
So is wokeism, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're both very deleterious.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, do I think QAnon, which is quasi-Christian nationalism, is worse than old school Christianity? Yeah, I do.
Okay, so why? Why is it
worse?
Because
QAnon is wrapped up with dumb ideas like, if the guy you want to win the presidency doesn't win, ignore it and install your guy anyway. Because they believe, getting back to the other conversation about Trumpism, they believe that the other side is such an existential threat, and again, the other side gives them so much ammunition to believe this, that they think anything is justifiable. In Vietnam, they used to say, we had to destroy the village
to save it, yeah.
This is, like, if you destroy democracy to save America, you are destroying the village to save it.
See, you asked me earlier why I'm trying to, say, revitalize a corpse. And my answer to that is that, well, that's a very old idea, that idea. And the reason for that is
Which is something religion does.
It does that repeatedly. It does that repeatedly.
Lazarus.
Right. Well, it's a motif, right? The raising of the dead. And there's reasons for that, and that's one of them. I'm trying to separate the wheat from the chaff. Like, I became convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt when I was 20-something, early 20s, 21, that evil existed. And that raises the specter that good exists, at least as the opposite of whatever evil is. And so my religious pursuit, such as it is, and this is why I was interested in psychology as well, and biology for that matter, is because I wanted to contend with that particular problem. And what I'm trying to do is to separate the wheat from the chaff, because I see that there is a drive towards unity in knowledge, and something will strive to take the highest possible place. And what you see with the postmodernists, for example, the postmodern Marxists, because they tend to be the same bunch, is that they dispense with God, but they substitute power. And like, of all the gods you could worship, power might be the worst.
Yeah, power is another way of saying what I was saying before. They substitute God for Mao, Stalin, Kim Jong-un.
Exactly.
It is the same thing.
Yeah. And then there's an issue there. So if you imagine you had to pick two dictators even, and one believed that he was God himself, and the other believed that despite the fact that he had almost unlimited temporal power, there was something sovereign above him that he was beholden to. Which of the two would you pick? And there's a technical reason I'm actually asking that, because thousands of years ago, this happened in Mesopotamia. The Mesopotamians realized that their that the sovereign had to be subordinate to some abstract set of principles. He had to be the embodiment of something that was beyond him, or he wasn't valid as a sovereign. And it was a real shift in viewpoint, because you could imagine a situation where it's North Korea. What I say goes. And that means, and I'm saying that deeply, I'm saying whatever I say is right by definition, right? That's a rough situation.
11 holes in one.
Yeah, exactly.
Do
While
not
inventing
question
hamburgers.
it.
Yeah. And so as civilization progressed, there was this abstraction of the idea of sovereignty as a principle itself, and that the leader should be subordinate to that. And that seems to be one of the applications of religious thought that's extreme. It's like rule of law, right? It's a similar idea. If you think there's a body of law, but there's a spirit that characterizes that body of law, right? Because it rotates, it's coherent. It rotates around a central axis. Well, the idea in the West is that if you're the king, if you're the president, you're subordinate to that body of law. You're not sovereignty itself. You're subject to something that's beyond you. Well, then the question becomes, well, you want that, obviously, because otherwise you're the guy. And then if you want that, it's like, well, what is that principle of ultimate sovereignty? And that's what I was trying to discover when I went through the biblical stories. It's like, what's the principle of ultimate sovereignty that unites these stories? So
You said before you had a follow-up book?
yeah,
What is it about?
it's about Job and about the
Oh,
Gospels.
some more.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, if you want to keep on this thread, I mean, as a history major, I would love to see a book about all the same things that you're talking about, but get more into like the influences from the surrounding civilizations. Plainly, in the beginning, it's a lot about Egypt.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Abraham.
I did this in the first book I wrote, in Maps of Meaning.
Oh, okay.
I talked a lot about Egypt and Mesopotamia in particular.
Yeah, I mean, like Abraham, he winds up in Egypt, right? Because
Right.
again, not to be always shitting on religion, how bad it is, but they're not really great about women. And among the terrible things they think about women is that if you're barren, it's really the worst thing it can be. I mean, a lot of the patriarchs, chicks, were barren. Abraham is with Sarah. She's barren, so he
He
fucks,
stays with her, though.
stays with her, but he fucks the Egyptian maid.
Hagar.
Hagar. Jacob, I mean, he does have Joseph with the wife, but then he gets with Leah because she's the maid. Where was I going with this?
Oh, you were talking about what would you say, the lack of respect accorded to women in the patriarchal stories. Sarah's a pretty good character. Sarai is a pretty good character. She has her own adventure. You know, and one of the things you have to say about Genesis, the story of Genesis, that I really think is quite miraculous, is that there's an insistence right from the beginning that both men and women are made in the image of God. And that's a hell of a thing for a document that's 5,000 years old. That's a radical thing to say.
She's made out of his rib. What are you
Yeah,
talking
but that makes her an equal. She's taken from his side. She's not taken from his head. She's not taken from his feet. She's taken from his side.
Why does that mean anything? What the side? Why?
Well, it's neither up nor down. It's in the middle.
And we're
And they're both of the same. There's a variety of meanings. They're both of the same essence, and there's more to it than that too. Because
but she's from him.
yeah, but
I mean, she
because-
doesn't exist before
right. But
him.
women are also cultural creatures, right? So one of the common characterizations of culture is patriarchal culture, let's say, and women are creatures of patriarchal culture. They're derived from Adam in that manner, and that's part of the deep structural meaning of that story. Because
What does that mean to be a patriarchal creature?
cultural creature, you're
Meaning?
socialized. You're socialized. You're not merely a biological entity.
But should you
right?
be? Should be socialized? I mean, again, not to pile on with the religion, but like the Baptists, a number of denominations in this country follow quite seriously the writings in the New Testament. Women should be subservient to the husband, things that are very out of step with, I mean, even Harrison Butker, I don't think is on the page with all of this, but really out of step with where we are today. I mean, a woman should gracefully submit, I think are words in the New Testament. I mean, gracefully submit, that
Well,
is,
let me throw two sticks in the spokes just for the sake of argument. All right, so this will probably get me in trouble, so we might as well do it. So women are hypergamous. So for maximum sexual arousal, they want
excuse
men.
me, Professor Egghead,
Yeah.
but could you explain that term for us
Okay.
regular New Jersey denizens who only went 7 semesters?
Yeah. So the average age gap between men and women worldwide for maximal attraction is 4 years. The men are older.
Yeah, completely blown past the limit here. Okay.
Okay, women like men of higher status
Oh,
than they
good.
are. Okay, so and that's the thing that predicts male sexual success best is his comparative status. Yeah. It's an immense predictor, and it's not the same with regard to women. So what that means, what it appears to mean, is that I'm not making a case for women's female subservience, by the way, but what it does appear to mean that for women to find a man sexually attractive, he has to be of higher status than she is. So what does that imply about their relationship? Does that mean that that's a relationship of equality? Like, I don't think it does.
I mean, yes, you are going to get in trouble for this
Yeah.
because people who are guys work for women. The women,
Yeah.
their boss is
Yeah.
or they're married to someone who makes more money than them. Are you saying that that's going to fuck up their sex life?
It does. The evidence for that's clear, and it increases the divorce rate by a lot.
There's actual evidence for that.
Definitely.
What is the evidence?
Well, one of the predictors of domestic violence is disproportionate earnings of the wife in comparison to the husband.
You're saying that when a woman makes more money, the guy loses it and clocks her?
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
And we have evidence?
Or maybe she provokes him because she's contemptuous.
Oh, Lord.
Well, either of those are going to get us in trouble.
It's worse than I thought. I'm so glad I never got married and have a good salary. But, I mean, this kind of stuff.
And then, well, we could add another twist to this, too, with regard to our treatment of women in the West. So, you know that half of women now at the age of 30 have no children. Half. And half of them will never have a child. And 90% of them will regret it. So that's involuntary childlessness.
How do we know they regret it?
Because there's enough data now to show what happens as
at what age do they regret it?
Well, they start to regret it generally around 30.
30?
Well, because, by the time you're 30, 1 couple in 3 has trouble conceiving. And that's defined as trying for a year with no success. So already at 30...
Well, let's get that couple help. No, I'm kidding.
There's lots of technologies to help, but they're not that helpful and they're very expensive.
No. I mean, I find it always very amusing that the people who desperately want to have a kid very often can't, and the people who are desperately trying not to.
15-year-olds in the back of a car. Yeah, no kidding.
It's like, but
arbitrary fate.
I mean, I think we're on different sides of the population debate. I mean, I've always been on the page, let's have less people on Earth. And I think you're on the side of let's have more babies. I never understand that because, I mean, the resources of Earth are finite.
I don't think so.
How could they not be?
Because we get better and better at making more from less.
So we're depending on actually figuring that out before this.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's always been that way with people. That is what we do. That's our niche in a way. We're very good at that. We're very good at it. And we've been spectacularly successful at that since the 1960s.
8 billion people on Earth.
Yeah. We're going to peak at 9, by the way.
What do you think we could support? Unlimited? I mean, space-wise, we could have a lot more, of course, because most of the land is empty.
There's no obvious limits. The limit is energy. And there's no obvious limit to energy.
Getting rid of waste?
You can bury waste pretty effectively. We're not going to run out of holes.
Bury waste?
Well, what kind of waste are you talking about?
All kinds. Pollution. What's ruining...
People are pretty good at making landfills.
What's ruining the ocean?
Overfishing, mostly.
Overfishing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
overfishing.
to feed people who you say there will be more of. How could there be enough fish?
Well, we could stop managing the resource stupidly.
If there's not now enough fish, how could there be...
There's no real limit to agricultural production. It's energy is the limit.
But fish?
Well, we mismanage... Look, we mismanage the oceanic resources terribly.
We just give up on fish.
Well, we probably destroyed 95% of the oceanic resources already.
And
now they can probably recover.
You say that in such a cavalier way.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. And like I did a deep dive into...
The world can't survive without the ocean.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. It really is. I think the worst thing we've done ecologically is to decimate the fisheries. It's stupid too because it was unnecessary.
Right.
It was unnecessary. Like there's some evidence that already by the dawn of the 20th century that 95% of the oceanic resources were gone and that we've depleted another 95% since then. I mean, the accounts of how much fish there was in the ocean before, when the Europeans first came to North America, it's just stunning. Like schools of cod that were hundreds of feet deep and hundreds of miles long with the average fish being something approximating 3 feet in length and so thick that you could lower, buckets into the water and lift them up. And sea turtles that were so plentiful around the Caribbean islands that you could hear them dozens of miles away. Like there was so much plenitude that you just can't believe it when you read it.
Yeah, like the buffalo.
Well, at Cape Ann in Boston, 300 years ago, when there was a nor'easter, the beach, Crane Beach, 7 miles long, would be covered across its entire length with shellfish 3 feet deep. And now, if you go after a nor'easter, there's because I've walked that beach, 3 starfish and a.
You know where there's no cod? Cape Cod.
Yeah, there's no cod in Canada either. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean.
But I don't think there is a limit on. There's no obvious limit on human population sustainability except energy.
You know who we need is Jesus, because didn't he create fish out of nothing?
Yeah.
Isn't that one of his miracles?
It is.
And that's reported by St. Paul and his wife, Mrs. Paul, who was into fish. No. But we need a modern day. Well, what I find interesting about that is...
the meaning of that story in part is that if we treated each other properly, there'd be more than enough to go around.
Yeah.
Right.
No, the Jesus story is a beautiful philosophy. I mean, if you take the religion out of it, which Thomas Jefferson tried to do, he wrote a Bible and took out all the miracles and the bells and the whistles. But I mean, that was a revolutionary idea. I'm not sure if it's a great idea because of what I was bringing up before about losing the desire to fix things on Earth. But the idea that it gets good in the afterlife, that was pretty new. I mean, that's not really.
It's also something like, it's a strange thing, Bill, because part of that is an extension of the idea of delay of gratification, which is what would you say? It's a necessary advancement for civilization. It's like, defer your reward. That's the definition of maturity. Well, the limit to reward deferral is an afterlife. And so I think, at least in part, psychologically, that the notion of an afterlife, the notion of something like a deferred eternal reward, is the logical consequence of deferred gratification. Yeah. So now, your criticism is still right. I mean, if you defer everything to the afterlife, and you see this with, say, more pathological forms of Islamic fundamentalism, it's like, well, nothing on earth matters at all because everything accrues to you in the afterlife. Like, obviously, that idea can be pathologized. And I would say there might also even be a rule. Like, it might be, I don't know if this is true, but it might be that the best ideas are the ones that can be used by the most evil people for the worst possible purposes.
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of that religious hypocrisy problem.
Well, you are not one of those evil people. I hope that whole thing you said about the oceans.
Ontario College of Psychologists would beg to differ.
Whatever you said about the oceans, you know, I hope they show that in left-wing media because, like,
I did a whole series on oceanic mismanagement.
Yeah, but they
no one watched it.
They don't want to talk about that because it just doesn't get clicks. Anyway,
no.
I could talk to you all night, but I'm gonna let you back.
Hey, thanks, Bill. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, and I appreciate the comments on my book too, and the blurb. Thank you for that.
That was the first book I've ever read completely on a tablet. I'm an old school book.
Specified the goal. You said that you were attempting to hit with your more commercial work. You said you familiarize yourself with what was popular, so that means you're communicating with your audience. They search for abstract ways of moving you forward to a goal. And so you specified the goal. You said that you were attempting to hit with your more commercial work. You said you familiarize yourself with what was popular, so that means you're communicating with your audience. Comedians kind of do that when they go to their clubs before they do a big tour and they try out jokes, right? You kind of want to see what's hot in the popular culture and hit that. And then you said as well that you're listening to Top 40, you're aiming at something commercial, and that's the target, and that people are actually hiring you for that. So in some ways, you're harnessing your imagination to that end. And obviously that's been extremely successful, as you pointed out, because you've written, you can do that. You have the ability to do that. But it also means that, and this isn't a criticism, it's an observation, it also means that you're subordinating your creative imagination, or you're directing your creative imagination to something approximating a commercial goal. Now, you know, there's artistry in that. I have a friend named Greg Hurwitz, who, very, very smart guy, and he writes slick, popular, movie-oriented fiction. You know, and that's his niche, and that's a valid niche. It's sort of the niche that film noir came out of, and there's art in hitting that target squarely. But that is quite a lot different from, you might say, that's quite a bit different from letting your imagination or the revelation take you wherever it will. Now, you said, you know, you also didn't exactly have the luxury, so to speak, to do that if you're bound by contractual obligation to people who expect you to produce hits, and you can understand why, because things have to be commercially successful. So when did you stop being bound by those sorts of contractual obligations that were directing you more in the specifically commercial direction?
It's been probably 6 or 7 years at this point, and the way that relationship began to unravel was, for a long time, I played their game. You know, people think Nashville, Tennessee that's all the good country boys and girls, you know? And what they don't realize is Music Row, Nashville, Tennessee, it's owned by basically the same big three companies that own Hollywood. It's Sony, Universal, and Warner Brothers. And between those big three conglomerates, you got 90% of every record label wrapped up there. So it's the same ideology of the Hollywood companies, just now in Nashville. And so because of that, the presidents of those labels, the head of their A&R departments, now not all of them, but most of them that are in charge, it was coming down to me that, hey, we really don't want you to go on that network. We really don't want you to talk about that subject. We really don't want you to post about this. Hey, John, we need to have a meeting. This is too controversial. And I played that game with him for a while because, you got a lot on the line there, man. I mean, you've been working at this your whole life. You've got records coming out. You got band and light guys and sound guys and bus drivers and, all kinds of people's income depend on you maintaining your career. And so I played that game for a little while, but at one point, it got to the point where I said, you know what? My two sons were getting old enough to really start paying attention to me. They're 14 and 12 now. At this point, they were probably 7 and 9. And I said, well, what kind of example is that for me to set for these boys? I mean, I'm going to sit here and rant and rail against the system and how bad it is, but then I'm going to shut my mouth and put on my gear and walk down a red carpet with these people and go in here and do what they're telling me to do. So at that point, I said, so my integrity is for sale and my freedom of speech apparently is for sale. It has a price tag because that's the game I'm playing right now. And when my boys got old enough where I realized they saw what I was doing, it hit me really hard, man. I mean, really hard, because if it's this bad for me, what's it going to be like for my boys when they grow up and leave? They're going to run right into the buzzsaw, and their blueprint is, well, how did Dad handle it? But Dad just rolled over and kept taking the paychecks, what Dad did. So I guess that's the right way to do it. I said, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. So we broke away from that system, broke away from the record labels, the publishing companies, and all those levers of power that exist over music. Now, because of that, I've never had another hit song at country radio. I've never had another song that, blew up like that, like some of our big career songs. But the inverse of that is the people out there, the American people, that know I don't have that system in place behind me anymore. If I give them content that strikes them, whatever that is, if it moves them, here they come. And I would say that I think that the amount of support I have today out there amongst just the general public as compared to back when I had a record deal has multiplied 300 or 400%. I mean, I wouldn't go back for anything in the world, never. And so as far as freedom goes, Dr. Peterson, I've never been more free to do what I want to do than I am right now. And I will say that a song like Revelation, like I said before, if I still had a contract like that, you guys would have never heard it. And to me, that is disconnecting, that is short-circuiting what God's plan is for me and for the abilities he's given me and the talent and the opportunities he's given me. If I'm still connected to some nasty record label that doesn't believe in what I'm doing and what I'm saying, that could stop that, well, that had to go away. Even though at the time I hated to lose it because I knew how powerful that is, and I'd been in it my whole life. But it wasn't too long after that, a matter of weeks, that I realized, wow, I'm actually free at this point. I'm actually a free man. I can say whatever I want, sing whatever I want, promote it however I want to. And that led, to answer your question from earlier, that led to, yes, my songwriting, my artistry, and what I want to do literally became wide open at that point. I could do whatever I wanted to do, which brought us to this song, Revelation.
The problem with big tech companies is that they don't just want your money, they want to know everything about you. Shadowy data brokers make a living compiling detailed profiles of your online activity and selling those profiles to marketers and other corporate interests that want to influence you with targeted ads. They're not selling a product, they're selling you. But you don't have to let them. There's a way to keep your browsing history truly private, and I use it every day. It's an app called ExpressVPN. One of the easiest ways for data brokers to track you is through your device's unique IP address, which also reveals information about your location. ExpressVPN hides your IP address, which makes it much more difficult for data brokers to monitor, track, and monetize your private online activity. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your network traffic to keep your data safe from hackers when you're on public Wi-Fi. ExpressVPN works on all your devices, phone, laptop, tablet, you name it. Just tap one button to turn it on and you're protected. It's that easy. I use ExpressVPN because I do not like the idea of some big tech company profiting off my personal data. Talk about a violation of privacy. Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/Jordan. That's expressvpn.com/Jordan, and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/Jordan.
Okay. So let me weave my way through that a bit here. So you started by talking about the fact that when you wrote the majority of the 2000 songs that you wrote, you did have commercial top 40 success in mind, and were often commissioned specifically to do that. And we talked about the fact that there can be real artistry involved in that. Now, but then it sounds like the additional necessity to toe the party line, let's say, started to put constraints on your creative ability, but also on your conscience, that began to plague you. And you said that one of the things that plagued you about that in particular was your sense that you were giving the wrong message to your boys. And they were pretty young when you started thinking about that. So let me ask you two questions about that. The first is, what risks see, the reason that it bothers me so much to see creative people become ideologically possessed is that the only thing that creative people have is the genuine creativity of their production, right? And that's really the goose that lays the golden eggs. And that's rather a fragile beast. I mean, first of all, most people don't have it. High-level creativity is a relatively rare trait. And then it's easily crushed, and it only flourishes under some conditions. And one of the conditions it flourishes under, by all appearances, is something like freedom. Right now, you can maybe put a couple of constraints on it, as we discussed with regards to your commercial aim. But if you keep piling on the impossibilities or the arbitrary restrictions, then you risk doing yourself damage. So two questions there. Like, what did you notice, if anything, happening to your ability to write creatively under those constraints? And also, like, how did you become aware, for example, that you weren't setting a good example for your boys? And like, how did you discover that or come to realize that?
So under those constraints, your songwriting at that point is completely superficial. It's only to make a check. It's only to make $1. It's only to get a plaque. It's only to further yourself, which is highly superficial to me. And so when you start talking about my two sons, well, man, that's as deep as you're going to get. I mean, there's nothing more important than that to me. And so when I saw that the example I was setting and that they were going to be following was superficial in nature, that, wow, we know dad's a real McCoy, but dad's willing to go superficial if it means he keeps getting that money and getting those plaques. That is no way to live. I'd rather you be completely broke in your life, poor as a church mouse, but have your constitution about you and have integrity about you and be a real McCoy, as we would call them in the country. I'd much rather my boys be that. I don't care about them, what they do when it comes to financial stuff. And so turning that corner and getting away from those shackles of what the industry was limiting me to turned me loose. I mean, it turned me loose. And for a minute, it's almost like, wait, you mean I can actually step over here and nobody's going to pop me? Okay. And so I step over there. Well, can I take another step? Yep. And nobody popped me then. As far as the industry, nobody popped me. Now, the press and other people, they come at me all the time. But the way I look at people attacking what I have to say is it's validation that I hit the mark. It's validation that I said it correctly. You know, if everybody likes what you have to say, you're not saying it correctly. That's the way I've always thought. And that's the way I feel today. So it loosened me up, Doctor, in such a way that I could, I think, be more of just a wide open instrument for whatever comes in that I think's important, that's been laid on me that's important, then I can make that happen. There's no guarantee it's going to be a quote success, but I can make it a reality. That's all you can really ask for. I think about the Declaration of Independence when it says we have the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It doesn't say we have the right to be happy or the right to be successful, the right to be rich, or any of these other things. It says you have the right to pursue happiness, to go after it. The word pursuit in itself means in motion. That means happiness is a moving target. I'm sure you would tell me what's happiness to you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Well, it does change as your life changes. So those are the principles that I look at. And at the end of the day, I know who gave me the ability to do it in the first place. You know, I yielded to him a long time ago. And so if you're yielded to him, to the Lord, and then he knows that you're willing to run through a door that he opens for you, he'll give you stuff. He'll send you things. And revelation is one of those things.
Okay, so a couple of questions about that. The first one is, I guess I have three questions, really. Like, what gave you the sense that you were leading your boys astray? I mean, they were very young, and the sorts of things that you're talking about are relatively subtle. And so was it guilt on your part, or was it something that you think they could actually see? Or was it something that you were afraid they were going to be able to see? You know, like, I'm not clear about the actual details, but what was plaguing your conscience? Now, I can understand that you were increasingly uncomfortable with the constraints on your free speech, and obviously that's at least in part because those constraints pose a danger to your creative ability. But I still don't quite exactly understand how it was that you became convinced that you were setting the wrong model, let's say, for your sons. What do you think it was that they were seeing? Was it reflected in the way you were talking to them, or in a bitterness? Like what was going on?
Yeah, well, I think we've all found ourselves watching the evening news and going, can you believe these people? Can you believe what's going on in our country right now? Or, they'd overhear me talking to my wife about, can you believe what this record label is doing? Or I just got in trouble for doing an interview with this guy. And they're hearing these things. But then I'll gear back up and walk right back out there and go play ball with the exact same people that I've been yelling at the house. That's called being a hypocrite. That is the essence of being a hypocrite, which is probably the worst thing you could be. I mean, even in the Bible, it says, I'd rather you be hot or be cold, but if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. That was from the Son of God himself said that. So you do not want to be lukewarm. If you're going to be a bad guy, be a real bad guy. If you're going to be a good guy, be a really good guy. Don't be in the middle. There's a lot of fence riders. And so I felt like, just looking at myself, I'm trying to ride the fence here with this deal. And I'm commanded to not do that. And so knowing my boys were on the edge of really starting to maybe put those things together bothered me. But what bothered me at that moment was knowing I was bothered by it. I realized that's who I had become, and that's the game I was playing. And I'm not really much of a game player, as you can probably tell. So I said, yeah, I think I'm going to exit this game. Now, I know that means I got to let go of what I've been doing for 25 years at a high level in this town. And I don't know what I'm going to be able to grab onto when I let go of this one. I'm in free fall for a while, but hey, you got it. So make something be there that I can grab onto. And he certainly did. So that's really how it played out. I was bothered by it. It was bothering my conscience, and my spirit was upset by it. And if you can't sleep well at night because you're being a hypocrite, you better fix that.
Yeah, well, you see, that's a very interesting observation, because I've just written a new book called We Who Wrestle with God, and it comes out November 12th. And it's a journey through the characterizations of God in 10 Old Testament stories, about 10. There's some forays into New Testament material, but I'm saving most of that for another book. And God is characterized in these stories, at least in part, in two ways. And one is as the spirit of what calls to you, so grabs your interest, compels you forward, it fills you with enthusiasm, makes you want to move towards a goal, makes you want to hit the target properly. And another characterization is the constraints of conscience. And I think about this biologically and instinctively too, because I think that those things dovetail. It looks to me like conscience, the voice of conscience, is something like the voice of the longest possible term game. So you could imagine that in your situation, there's two forces that are striving inside of you. And one is the forces that say, maintain your relationship with what's essentially high-level commercial success that comes at the price of pleasing the marketplace and also not displeasing the people who control your access to that. And that's not nothing, as you pointed out, but then your conscience comes up and it's saying something like, yeah, but you might be giving up something more important here. And you don't want to do that because that's a bad long-term game. Bad for you, bad for your kids, bad for society. It's a bad social game too. And if you play the longer-term game, you might pay a short-term price, right? That's the price you pay for speaking your mind when there's a certain amount of pressure against doing so. But it's an unbeatable long-term game, in my estimation, if your conscience is clean. Now, you said something interesting, though, too, from the practical perspective, two things. You said that you let go of a sure thing, although you were paying a price for that. But what you gained in consequence were two things. You gained an increase in creative freedom that was at least in part unexpected, right? That you could now make forays into various directions that you had hesitated to tread on before. I was kind of wondering about how that might have made itself manifest musically, because you can imagine that you might have been restricting yourself with regard to the content of the lyrics, but you might have also been restricting yourself with regard to the plethora of musical forms that you might introduce into your music. Like, one of the things that strikes me about your music is that, you cover a very wide range of genres. So I'm curious about whether your willingness to detach yourself from the dictates of the politicized marketplace increased your musical creativity as well as your lyrical creativity. And then there was one other thing. Oh yes, the other thing you said was that the other advantage was that you established a more genuine connection with your audience. And so let's take those apart step by step. So the first thing is, when you freed yourself and you stopped being, in your own words, a hypocrite, what happened to you on the musically creative side as well as the lyrically creative side? And then let's talk about why the effect that had on your audience and why you think that happened.
Do you know what a Tennessee walking horse is?
No. What's a Tennessee walking horse?
Go look that up after we get through talking. So a Tennessee walking horse is a big, powerful black horse. And they start these horses off when they're colts, and they put these really heavy weights on their front 2 feet. And they make those horses walk with those for years and years and years and years, even when they're adults. But when they want the Tennessee walking horse to do what the Tennessee walking horse is known for, they take the weights off the feet of the horse and they get up and they spruce the horse up, and the Tennessee walking horse walks like this. And their front feet are just going up and down. And it's one of the most impressive things you've ever seen. And it's because they finally took the shackles off that horse, and that horse is like, look at me now. And the rest of the time, the horse is like, man, I wish somebody'd get this weight off my feet. I'm not doing what I'm capable of doing. Please get these off. And then they do. I think it's possibly somewhat cruel, honestly, to do that to those horses. But the same thing would be how I felt, is that, yeah, I could still, just like the horse, I could still walk, I could still run. You're just weighed down with it. And so the second you break away from that, and that the chains and the shackles are broken, now you're free. You almost don't know what to do with it for a little while, because you're not used to being able to do what you want to do and say what you want to say without somebody trying to restrain you. And so what that does on the creative side, and being a musician, you know this. Can you imagine what that does? I mean, once you finally figure out, I can write a song like Revelation if I want to. Like, if that's something that hits me hard, I can write that and I can actually put that out. Yes, you can actually do that. And so, you got to know this. When you go look at Jesus Christ and what he talked a lot about freedom. He talked a lot about it. He talked about the truth. He talked about freedom. And he says the truth will set you free. I mean, what a statement that is. The truth will set you free. So if you look at my situation, was I living truthfully at that point when I was shackled down? No, I wasn't, because I was playing a game. I was living a hypocritical existence at that point. That's not truthful. So the second I was able to be totally truthful and come on with it exactly how I wanted to do it, that's the truth. Here comes the freedom part. They coexist, the truth and the freedom. The truth will set you free. And so that's where I find myself currently, is that we're speaking the truth, and I've never been more free in my life. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy and that everybody likes it. It doesn't say that at all. But it does say those two things absolutely coexist. So what you're seeing in this song, Revelation, and what's happening with that song right now is a result of the truth will set you free.
Right. Okay. So that makes sense to me. It also, psychologically, it makes sense to me too, because, you described the appearance of that song sort of as a unit and also as a surprise. And because thought and imagination serves aim, I was very curious about what must have or might have transformed in your aim to make that sort of thing possible. The song is reminiscent to me of two other songs that I really like. It's reminiscent of a song, Democracy by Leonard Cohen, which is a very revelatory song. I mean, Leonard Cohen had a lot of revelatory songs, but that's definitely one of them. And Johnny Cash recorded a great song, When the Man Comes Around, that's a deadly song. I don't know where the hell that came from.
I mean,
that's a killer.
Johnny Cash wasn't playing around with that one.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's definitely a hair stands up on the back of your neck song. And that's actually, by the way, that feeling of having your hair stand up on the back of your neck, that's piloerection. So the reason that happens, at least biologically, the reason that happens is for the same reason that a cat puffs up when it sees a big dog, right? It's an instinctual reaction to something that inspires awe. And people who are high in openness, which is a dimension of creativity, are much more likely to experience that particular phenomena. And it is a phenomena that emerges when people are in the presence of something that inspires awe. So that's very cool. That's another place where the biology and the divinity seem to unite. Okay, now, all right, so we got that established. So you changed what you were aiming at. Now, you said that that's put you in touch with your audience in a different way, and also in a way where a lot has come to you in consequence, right? It's been a positive thing. So walk me through that. What's changed? What's changed in how you treat your audience? What's changed in how your audience treats you? What's that meant commercially on tour? What's that meant in terms of how you're promoting and presenting your music in the new media landscape?
Well, I think we all realize now, regardless of your politics or anything else, that we are being lied to, have been lied to, and will continue to be lied to this entire time, your entire life. You've been swimming in a sea of either lies or contorted versions of the truth, and people know that now. They really have woken up to this. I think when COVID rolled through and we saw and busted them on a lot of their lives, people just were in shock that these people actually would lie to us like that, and they all realize that now. So to answer your question, they know I'm not lying to them. And they know when they hear that
Right.
song, for instance, Revelation, you don't write that song as an angle, as a lie, as an angle, as a maneuver, as a way to have a hit. I mean, really? I mean, who would do that? It makes no sense to even do that. So they know that what I'm telling them in my music, and also what I talk about in interviews like this one we're doing right now, they know I have absolutely nothing to gain from saying those things. Nothing this world is gonna bestow upon me. Thank you, John, for singing about Revelation. Thank you, John, for talking about spiritual warfare. Thank you for doing all this. That's never going to happen. It's quite the opposite of that. So I think my audience has grown because they know I'm not lying to them. They know that if I say it, I mean it. It's an authentic position, and I won't back up off of it because they see me get banged up pretty good. You go on social media and read the comments. It's pretty nasty, as I'm sure it is for you sometimes, but you keep coming. And the bigger point of that is when you do what the Lord tells you to do, and it is a difficult thing to do, but you do it anyway. He's told us time and time again in the Word, if you'll do what I tell you to do, go where I tell you to go, and be who I told you to be, if you'll do those things, the world's going to hate you. A lot of them are going to hate you, but I'm going to reward you, and you'll get your reward whenever you get it. But trust me, it's coming. So there's your marching orders. Now, that's a tough set of rules because that is an uncomfortable position just as a human being to step into those things. But my position is I fear him a lot more than I fear them. You know, there's a scripture that says, do not fear the one who can only kill your body. Fear the one who can kill your body and kill your soul. Fear him. Fear the Creator. Fear the Alpha, the Omega. Fear him. And that is who I fear. And so even though it's an uncomfortable thing sometimes or a nerve-wracking thing to come with something like Revelation and then do an interview like this where we're talking about it, it's a lot less scary to do that than not doing what he told me to do.
When a woman experiences an unplanned pregnancy, she often feels alone and afraid. Too often, her first response is to seek out an abortion because that's what left-leaning institutions have conditioned her to do. But because of the generosity of listeners like you, that search may lead her to a preborn network clinic where, by the grace of God, she'll choose life, not just for her baby, but for herself. Preborn offers God's love and compassion to hurting women and provides a free ultrasound to introduce them to the life growing inside them. This combination helps women to choose life, and it's how Preborn saves 200 babies every single day. Thanks to the Daily Wire's partnership with Preborn, we're able to make our powerful documentary, Choosing Life, available to all on Daily Wire Plus. Join us in thanking Preborn for bringing this important work out from behind our paywall, and consider making a donation today to support their life-saving work. You can sponsor one ultrasound for just $28. If you have the means, you can sponsor Preborn's entire network for a day for $5,000. Make a donation today. Just dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby. Or go to preborn.com/Jordan. That's preborn.com/Jordan.
Right. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. You know, people often compliment me on my bravery, let's say, and that doesn't sit very well with me fundamentally because that's not actually accurate. I'm just afraid of different things. So, for example, like I spent a lot of time studying totalitarianism, like a lot of time. I spent half my life, likely for 40 years, studying the psychology of totalitarianism. And what that meant for me was, by the psychology of totalitarianism, I was very interested in what it was like to participate in a totalitarian state, to let that take you over. And totalitarian states take you over by requiring your submission to the lie. Like, we like to think of a totalitarian state as a state where an evil, charismatic leader like Stalin or Hitler or Mao takes over the state and forces otherwise freedom-loving people to bend the knee and shut their mouths. But that's not how it works. What happens is that a society starts to become possessed by lies, and then everyone starts to lie, and eventually everyone lies about absolutely everything they're saying and doing to everyone, including themselves and everyone they love, 100% of the time. And that's hell. And if you know that, then you're way more afraid of that than of anything else, because there isn't anything worse than that, including death. And there's plenty of death that accompanies it too. And so part of being willing to abide by the truth, let's say, is getting your fears in order. I kind of think that's what Christ means in the Gospels when he says, "Get thee behind me, Satan." It's something like, you want to have your fear, it's more than this, but it's something like you want to have your fear behind you, pushing you forward. in the right direction rather than your fear in front of you stopping you and making you cowardly. It doesn't mean you get rid of the fear, but it's put in the right place. Now, I'm curious about something here that's quite personal. Like, you made a comment earlier about yielding, and then obviously you're motivated by religious considerations. And then you talked more specifically in our last exchange about the truth setting you free, and also you being afraid of the judge of your soul, let's say, more afraid of that than afraid of public opinion or loss of financial stability or opportunity. How did you come to these conclusions, and when?
Well, when I was a kid, my dad's been preaching since he was about 19. He's now in his early 70s. Preaches in a lot of prisons. My dad did a lot of street preaching. Now, you want to talk about a challenge. My dad hit about 34 Mardi Gras in a row, standing on the French Quarter as the parades are coming by, got a guitar around his neck, and a little speaker standing next to him, and he's singing and he's preaching, and the ridicule coming back at him was like a tidal wave. And I've asked him, why did you keep standing there letting them do that to you? And he said, because about 1 out of 100 of them would stop and ask me what I was talking about. And then I had a chance to witness to that person on the street. And he goes, the reason I'm not in some big church somewhere is because the people that really need to hear it are never going to walk into one of those church buildings. They're out there in the world. They're stuck behind bars.
complete the ritual. Summon me, and know their future is secured.
Stay strong. An excellent choice.
Be relentless. Our purple guardian has been defeated.
Someone's gonna be bleeding on the concrete, and it ain't gonna be you.
Guardian has been defeated. They've taken an objective. Under your leadership, the seventh moon could run New York. All you need to do is complete the ritual.
In the mood for something? Good luck. Ah, the old New York tuxedo. Sending it. I'm coming.
仲良くしようか。
No one's killing me.
悲惨すぎる。
Good luck.
Your time runs short.
Not piece of the last.
It starts with a simple trick.
Stay on the ground.
Blue Guardian has been destroyed.
Push, dude, push now. Push.
Got you numbered, baby.
Time for evasion.
Coming yellow for Hayes.
Anybody else wants to come here to lane purple? We are 3v1. Wait, no, 2v3. Sorry.
Alright, let's head purple.
Relentless. Our purple guardian has been destroyed. Excellent work.
That great talent is kicking ass.
Today.
Here's your chance to shape your destiny.
Your death is inevitable.
Time for a base attack.
The spirit is waiting to be claimed.
Let's go.
Our purple walker has been defeated. They've taken the objective.
Two on green shift. Can I get some help?
Go in now as soon as they respawn. Shit. That great talent stole the urn. That guy is cracked.
Ulting blue, ulting on blue. Boys, we got him.
Mutants have breached our stronghold.
This is going to be messy.
Hallelujah. You killed that great talent.
You will suffer. Together we will not.
Show no mercy. Our yellow walker has been defeated. For a salvation that will not come.
衰え知らずね。
Starts with a simple. This is just the beginning.
Shall we go through another lane?
Yeah, we got the ship.
Just slide over to blue.
I'm going jello. That thing, it's too easy for them to run to.
They're on blue. They're on blue. If they chase, I have ult.
I hate that great talent with passions.
Our blue walker has been destroyed. I'm under
Approaching strangers behind something.
I'm shoving this lane so you guys can come push it.
Bebop continues to bring support to the Amber Hand.
Try not to die, ya. Big pusher.
Crashing down.
Retreat.
Well, at least I was able to make them panic. Are they coming from blue?
No, they're coming.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Stay strong, buddy.
Yeah, they're sitting blue though. Oh, they're gone. Oh, they're back.
I got a little something for it.
Starts with a simple.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed. Enemies have breached our stronghold. They will learn to fear. They only have one shrine left. Stop me.
Your death is 仲良くしようか。
Patron is exposed. Enemies have breached our stronghold.
I'm not even close to finished.
Finish their patron.
Well, I feel bad for them. Someone disconnected. Like a bitch.
It's the worst.
The earth. Enemies have breached our stronghold.
We could kill mid boss, I suppose.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Is that she's pretty much tissue paper. She's like haze. Good games.
Yeah, good game, man.
I'm not dealing with one type of patron. I'm dealing with another.
They don't know who they're dealing with. One, 5, 10. I don't care how many there are. I'll stand up to them all.
This is your chance to relieve yourself of the book's burden. Complete the ritual, Abrams. Summon me.
Went to ham.
like all of you, I'm not afraid to charge into a fight. You thought you were gonna keep me down? Wonder what I can get at the shop.
Thank you. Going to the shop.
What you looking for? You want a buy? Stay 2 steps ahead of death, my friend.
And I'm back.
Can I get help on yellow? Just for a second. Never mind, we're good.
They want to kill me. They're gonna have to work for it. How to take a hit. Afraid of you. What comes up?
Go into the shop.
I got one of those. Stay safe out there.
Out of my way. Face me.
no mercy.
Nice.
Relentless. They've taken an objective.
I'll take you all on. Some moron is gonna try to punch me, and they're not gonna like what happens next.
Have fun. No, I don't go selling these to just anyone.
Kill me.
I got yellow, bro. Don't worry about it, Kelvin.
Purple Guardian has been defeated.
It was just the creeps. I left. I accidentally let them fucking creep up. Like fucking creeps.
Cause I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
What the hell I'm doing here?
You guys want to do that? Nah. I'm leaving yellow now. This place.
Let's see what this.
No action here. Coming blue.
You thought you were gonna keep me down.
Kelvin, push, push, push now.
Took out Kelvin.
My bad. Didn't see the lash coming from
I
nowhere.
love surprising people.
Took out Hayes. Cooked out for it.
Excellent work.
Pull that off, Burn. I don't quit. Run, cowards! Get back here!
Our yellow guardian has been destroyed. And fight!
Oh shit, I pissed them off. They were 3v1 me after all the kills I gave them.
Taking an objective. Discus thinks he is immortal. Ready for a salvation that will not come.
It's got a yellow face.
Calvin, do you need help or you good?
Drop it in.
Cage and we just killed him, so he's killed him.
You're mine.
Down rate. They're not gonna want to get up close. Who among them can stop us? Their dreams will come crashing down. The urn is ours. ball of goo back to the deep. Your presence is a boon to us all.
Ivy, that was crazy, bro. I was using my ult when you fucking picked me up. You should have flew me around and just carried me while I was fucking using that shit. That would have been so fucking awesome.
Let's go.
It's okay. That was actually kind of broken. If we pulled that off, that would have been crazy.
Two unkilled him.
I went full Iron Man and went, you know what, bitches, I'm here. Say knock. But they killed me.
Stay where you are. Stop right! Not going down without a fight. Just took out haste. I'll do my part.
Can't take that guy. He's good.
I fought better.
I am here, bitches!
That's a lot of damage.
Call me daddy, motherfucker! I love it. I just love this character.
Chemical flash. We took out 7. This is the end.
Run while you still can.
I am McPunch! I killed it.
Yeah.
I went there and put my fucking authority on the foot.
One, 5, 10. I don't care how many there are. I'll stand up to them all.
Only you were strong enough to bear the tome's weight, Detective Abrams. And soon you will be free of it.
Hey, 7, are you okay? There's 7 players.
They took out 7.
Are you okay, dude?
Fun fact about ghosts. Like humans, they don't like getting shot.
Gentlemen, you can disconnect. We have a disconnected player for some reason. The 7, he's not responding or anything. You can disconnect from the game. Or I suggest you do it. I'm gonna do it now. Not to be a bitch, like disconnect mid-game because everything is going wrong, but because we don't have all the players assembled.
Maybe just like wait a minute. Wait.
Bro, chill out.
So
You need to relax.
No,
I had to
sorry.
take a piss.
My bad, dude. The thing is that I have 3 games night now.
Dude, next time you take a piss, press P, man.
Bro, if you want to leave, leave so we can leave. But don't just tell everyone to leave. Like, you know what I mean? You're the one that's going to get penalized. I got yellow, by the way. I don't know who's here. We're going to win. You guys got 7. They don't have 7. They're stealing. Abrams, can you collect our shots if you could?
I need to go back and train. I'll run them down.
Stay on the ground.
Oh my god, I cannot believe that guy didn't kill me.
I'm here. What the hell do you think? I'm Abrams.
40 health.
Need to shop.
I'm coming back ahead speed. Don't die.
A little bit too.
Welcome to New York. Have fun. Don't get dead.
I am about to die, so I'm going back to base. Just, can you hold?
No worries. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Careful, they're kind of advanced.
They better run. Stand and fight! Take out one blue. Seek dynamite.
Oh shit, I almost killed the Paladin.
You're looking to survive. You
Nice
came
kill.
to the right place.
Oh, that was the Guardian. Nice.
Need up on blue. Need up on blue.
We're coming blue. I'm coming. I'm gonna go help blue.
Me too. After all, they're coming back, so...
I'm gonna stay here then, because Kelvin's here.
Okay.
I'll fight to the bitter end.
Your brilliance is an example to us all, McGinnis.
I'm gonna go enter Viva.
You won't kill me.
Thank you. They're both back here, by the way. I go pick help again. Actually, never mind. Lady Guys is here.
Thanks.
Always, don't worry.
Bought that off of Knickerbocker. If you need more protection, you know where to find me.
Good job.
They will know.
Pull back.
Quantum integrity.
Run, cowards.
That was silly. I don't know why I tried that.
Okay, I
If I
can
can
say...
use my E in the walker's beam.
Okay, I can say that Haze is good. The Haze Slayer is really good.
Good work. No one breaks me.
Viva, retreat! Oh, shit. My bad, dude. I should have told you something. I'm going to help purple.
Our blue guardian has been destroyed. Our yellow guardian has been defeated.
Wonder what I can get at the shop.
Excellent work.
They won't see this coming. I'm afraid of you.
And up goes down.
Kill the wraith, kill the wraith.
There's no escape for me. The spirit herb is waiting to be claimed.
A7, need help? I can't hear you. I don't know why. Maybe the mic got off or something.
Where are you?
We live in interesting times, don't we?
No,
What
I asked.
main? Hello, hello.
No, sorry. I asked if you needed help, not that I needed help. My bad, dude. Bye.
No.
The urn is being delivered.
LOL. That dude got rocked.
Coming in.
Shit. I was too greedy. I should have killed the Kelvin. But the Guardian knocked me out.
They've taken the objective.
I'm going in.
I'm going to help Bebop.
Go ahead. Wraith is not with him anymore, so I can kill Kelvin. But
No,
holy shit,
Bebop.
that Wraith is good. Rat tree. They hate you.
I'll take you all on.
They pray for salvation that will never come.
Going green to help. Or anybody needs help.
I'll crash into them.
Looks like they went blue.
My way.
Can we take middle? No. Not yet.
You'll be the last one standing.
Let's push blue. I'll say right. Pull back. I'll see the enemy.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Heading to yellow.
I should invest.
Good news, good with green water. Bad news, they came for my ass.
They've taken the objective. They cower before us.
I'll say right.
I didn't survive this long just to die here.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go yellow now. I've been killing them little by little. So, well, of course, because you guys are distracting them.
They're all pushing purple.
This book is dangerous. I can't let it fall into the wrong hands.
They're gonna come back as soon as I start killing them.
Yeah, they're fucked.
As soon as they retreat, you can push.
Going in.
Our purple has been
trap.
We only have one strike left.
Everybody come! Everybody come!
I told you.
Bro. Oh my god, bro.
I told you. So OP, bro. Just give me some room, you know what I mean?
Let's go,
This isn't your day.
Let's go, man. They're in mid.
They are not in mid.
Anybody wants to kill mid, boss?
Yeah, go for it. Go, go, go.
Finish their patriot.
I am on mid, boss.
A spirit earth is waiting to be claimed.
Oh shit, they're fucking coming, bro.
Doesn't matter, I have a little secret. It's called Abrams and he can stun anyone.
We have them.
On the top, slime ball. That slime ball.
Sorry, business.
Okay, we can push now, like we don't give a fuck.
I did not mean to push that button.
I
That was a
thought so.
fucking accident.
I thought so. Yeah, it happens.
Man. I was trying to fucking do my power surge. See if I could finish that, dude. That sucks. Oh well. Fat finger. Well, 99 seconds. I'm going to do that again.
Drop it in. There. I see Wraith.
They're fucking angry at me. Oh, kill them all now. They were distracted by me, so they're gonna get fucked.
I gotta figure out how to use this damn book before it gets me killed.
Infernus, you are burning them to cinders.
This is only the beginning.
Abrams, are you killing the patron down there?
Yep.
You're in that bag. Wait 5 seconds, bro. Let me use my E one more time.
It's time.
No. You suck. You bitch. GG.
GG.